Hi everyone, this is Mary. You're in Mary Reads. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a Halloween vlog. I think I'm gonna do it in two parts just because I want to read like 5 books, and putting them all in one video is going to be just too much. I'm starting this video 2 weeks before Halloween, and let's see how many books I can read. I'm hoping to take you to a bunch of places that I'm going to go to, and yeah, hopefully we will all have fun. Right now, let me show you the books that I want to read. I have one mystery book and then I think 4 horror books. I just put one mystery book because I think that's a nice thing to start with since we still have 2 weeks before Halloween. I'll kind of start slow, get myself into the mood, into the atmosphere with a mystery book. And I've talked about all of these books in my horror and mystery book haul. So if you've missed that, please watch that video as well. Maybe you'll find some books that you will enjoy and you will want to read for Halloween. So some of these books are from that video, but I'm just going to show them real quickly in case you haven't watched the video yet. So the first book is going to be a mystery novel, The Death on the Lusitania, and this is the one that I'm planning on reading right now. This is a mystery novel about a man who is killed on the Lusitania. He's shot twice and nobody knows how this could have happened because first nobody heard anything, and then also he was killed in a room that was locked, so nobody knows how the person got the key, how he was able to get into the locked room, or what happened there, or maybe this person killed himself. So yeah, this is the mystery, and what's interesting about it is that this was a real ship. Lusitania was a real ship that was sunk by German armies in 1915, and many people died. And the couple that wrote this book, they are historians, they love this period, and they just decided to create kind of their own version of events, of what happened. So I assume this will be tied up to politics, to the war. It might be interesting. I don't think it's going to be super scary or anything, but should be interesting. The second book I have here is The Dead Zone by Stephen King. This already is horror. We will have a man who in 3 different times is going to get into this dead zone for many different reasons, and there are many different ways he gets there, as I understand. I was told in one of the comments that this is a horror novel, and I'm very excited because I do want to read more of Stephen King. I've only read like 2 of his books, and one of those was The Green Mile, which is not horror at all. So I wanted to see Stephen King as a horror author, and I decided to pick up The Dead Zone. The next book is The Night House, and here we have students in school who start disappearing. Everybody thinks that it's this new boy who is an outcast, but he says that it's not him, and he saw actually one of the boys being dragged into the phone booth, and he's gonna start looking into this case, and somehow it's gonna become personal for him. So should be interesting, and I think he should be an unreliable narrator, which is super cool. Now we have A House of Hunger. About this book I said that it will either be good or very bad. This is a gothic novel. I assume they're going to be vampires because we have those rich people who drink blood. So I think there should be something connected to that. We're going to have this young girl who, trying to escape poverty, becomes a blood mate for one of these rich people. So I guess they're going to be drinking her blood. And yeah, there should be just this crazy chain of events that our main character will have to go through. And finally, we have The Final Girl Support Group. This is also a horror novel about the girls who have a support group. These girls were the last ones living after a horrible tragedy, a horrible mystery, so they're the last ones standing, and they formed a support group just so that they can, discuss their troubles, get over their psychological issues, and then once one of the girls disappears, they understand that it's happening to them again. I would say that I'm the least excited about The House of Hunger, just because it kind of sounds like, I don't know, like it's going to be cheap. I'm not sure how to explain that, but just like cheap story, cheap plot, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it's gonna end up being super cool. I also don't really trust this cover, but again, we'll find out soon enough. I am gonna start with Death on the Lusitania, and I will follow up in like 50 pages, I think. So I've read the first 50 pages, and the murder has already happened. We start the whole story with learning about the people who are on this ship on the first class. They're all sitting at the same dinner table, and we have this older woman, we have a married couple from Mexico, we have our main detective, we have two people, I think, who are somehow connected to war. So we learn more about the characters. And it's the time of war, so obviously everybody is worried. People don't know how the ship is gonna come to Liverpool, because that's the war zone, and everybody is thinking about what to do, and they are talking if it's going to be a safe trip, and if they maybe are going to get some sort of help. Maybe there will be, you know, like boats that are going to be saving them with people who are armed and stuff like that. So we just kind of look at the first evening on this ship and learning more about the people. And then the next day we'll learn that this man died. The employees of the ship came to his cabin and they found out that he's dead. Of course, nobody knows how that happened because his room was locked and the key was inside. And our main detective, Gallagher, is going to try to solve this murder. He is working in, I think, some sort of a private governmental office, and he knows the captain of the ship. They are friends and the captain trusts him, so he put his in charge of this case. It's fairly interesting. I can see how it could be similar to Agatha Christie in the sense of we have this like 8 or whatever people who are somehow connected, and one of them is the murderer. I don't know what happened here yet, and I don't know if I'm going to like the ending and how the case is gonna turn up, but we'll see. So far it's fine. It's okay. I can't say that I'm super duper excited and I can't put the book down, but it's fairly interesting. Hello everyone, it's Saturday and I haven't been filming anything for the past couple days because the work has been super crazy. I've had to interview people, prospective volunteers. I had to train them, reach out to all of them. We had 2 days of interviews actually, which took like 4.5 hours total. So it was a little crazy, and I was just coming home, you know, not being able to do anything except like read, make dinner, and go to bed. But I finished Death on the Lusitania and I liked it, but I do have a couple of comments about it. So it is kind of similar to Agatha Christie. This is the case where I can actually say it. The mystery is good, and we have this circle of people that could have done it, and it's not just some random person who we are not sure about and we haven't heard about before. So it's good in this way, and it is Agatha Christie in this way. But here we also get a huge historical layer. So everything is happening during World War I. So a huge thing is a German spy or a person who works for Germany but pretends to be for Britain, like let's say, an engineer who says that he's going to help the US with some missiles and stuff, but at the same time, he's actually helping Germany. So he's not a spy, but he's kind of a traitor. And this is a huge part of the book. Everything is connected to this as well. So if you're not a huge fan of that line of like a historical mystery where everything is actually tied very much to a historical event, then maybe it might not be for you. And also, Lusitania was an actual ship that was sunk during World War I, and 1,200 people died. It was a horrible tragedy. And in this book, the authors said that they're gonna do a retelling of this story, so they are gonna think of a different ending. So I thought that maybe the ship wouldn't sink. Maybe in their book they will decide to do something different with it. But no, I don't think it's a spoiler since everybody has heard about Lusitania. And if you haven't, the information is, right there. And actually the authors literally wrote it in the book, like in the one of the last pages. You can read about the authors and about Lusitania. So I don't think it should be a spoiler, but that's just something to keep in mind. The ship gets sunk, and we know that 1,200 people died, so you will get some details about how these people died. And if that's something you're not prepared for, maybe you should not do it, because I didn't expect that, definitely. And when I was reading it, I was like, what is going on? Why is everybody dying? Why didn't anybody tell me that this is going to happen? It should say it in like these bold, big letters, like everybody's going to die. Be prepared, woman. I was so upset that nobody told me that this is going to happen. I just expected a mystery and the murder that's going to happen on this mystery line, but not as the ship is being sunk, people die from like cold water or they get drowned. I did not expect that. So that's something to keep in mind, definitely, because there are going to be some details that are not going to be pleasant. Overall, I think it's going to be like 4 stars for me. It wasn't bad, but it was slightly dragging. I was reading this book and I was thinking, why is it taking so long? It feels like I'm reading and it just doesn't finish, even though the book was reading kind of fast. So I don't, 4, which is like 7 out of 10, not 8, but probably 7, maybe even 6.5. So I could recommend this book if you enjoy history, if you are fine with slight violence in the sense of talking about deaths and giving some details about that. So I think I would recommend this book if you like historical fiction. That's one. And second, if you are okay with seeing these details of death. Those are, if you're fine with both of those, that's fine. If you just enjoy mysteries and you're looking for a nice thriller, you can find better options. Not super Halloweenish. I thought it's going to be a little bit more mysterious, but it was okay. I started reading The Night House, and it's been reading super fast. It's just, I'm flying through the pages, and I'm really enjoying the book. And one thing about it is that I don't know what to expect here. So I just know what it says in the description of the book. And I've read like 50 pages so far. And we are close to what the description says. The boy gets dragged to the phone booth and he just disappears. And our main character is blamed for everything that's happening. And people are thinking that he has killed his friend, and obviously nobody trusts him. And it's a completely weird story that, oh, you know what, the boy was dragged into a phone booth and eaten by this phone booth. So it obviously nobody believes him. It's not scary. It's kind of slightly chilling just because you're not sure what's happening. I assume it's gonna get even darker, even scarier, but it's not as emotion-provoking as a horror movie would be. If this was a horror movie, I probably wouldn't be able to watch it. But as a book, it's very manageable because you can read it during the day when it's a sunny, warm day, and it kind of makes the whole emotion of this dread and fear dissipate a little bit. Or you can close the book at any moment and say, you know what, I kind of want to edit the picture in my head a little bit so it's not super scary. You can do this with a movie. And as a book, as horror novel, it's not as scary as I thought it would be. But it's definitely a horror novel. So it is horror, but it's not as scary as I expected. And if you're looking for something actually chilling that will actually make you scared of sleeping at night, well, maybe horror novels are not really the best way to do it. Maybe movies are going to be a better option here. My husband and I are going to go on a walk. It's fairly warm and we want to catch these last day of sunshine and warm weather before it gets cold. And I'm hoping to read a little bit in a cafe. Maybe we're going to be able to walk a little bit. And I really want to get those Kinder Eggs with Harry Potter series figures. I got 3 so far. I haven't gotten any of the actual figures of the characters, so I'm really hoping that I will get at least 1. I'm not planning on getting the full collection, but I really want at least 1 of those nice eggs with a figure of the character. Hello, we are back home and it's already 7 p.m. It got surprisingly cold in the apartment, so I'm wearing my sweater. But I wanted to tell you about The Night House. I finished the book and I think I gave it around like 7 out of 10. So 4 out of 5. This book was good. I definitely didn't expect what's going to happen in the end. The only thing, there are 3 parts. And all 3 parts are set in a different timeline. And it's sometimes hard to understand what's going on because obviously you're reading the book from the beginning to the end, but then you start jumping in time and place because every part of the book is set in a different time and place. And you get a little bit confused. It's hard to understand what's going on. So I was confused until probably the last 10 pages. They definitely explained everything. And at some point, I really thought that the book is going to end up bad in the sense of the ending would be super predictable, kind of like it was all a dream. And this is the worst outcome with every horror novel because it was all a dream makes me think, then why did I read it if it was all a dream? So, in that sense, it was good. It was done, if not perfectly, then definitely better than it was just a dream. And I'm quite happy with it. I don't think it's going to be my favorite book. Definitely, it's not getting into, best of 2024 books, or it's not even going to be the best of the books in thriller or horror genre that I read. But it's definitely somewhere up there. It's definitely closer to the beginning of the list than to the bottom of it. It wasn't bad. The main character is written well, and we definitely dislike him sometimes, but then the other times we sympathize with him, which I really like. I don't like it when a character is just good or just bad. It's much more interesting to look at them gradually improving or them having some contradicting parts in their character. So it's much more interesting when they are what I call a 3D character, like a real person. And I definitely saw this in this book, and I really, really enjoyed it. And again, you will definitely be confused when you finish the first part and start the second one. That's definitely like the biggest confusion part for me. And don't stop reading then. Don't think that the book is stupid or you're stupid or it's just not your type of book. Just finish reading it, even if it feels like you don't understand anything and it's just something weird. that's all I have to say about this book. And the next one I'm planning on reading, I'll start tomorrow, is The Final Girl Support Group. This is supposed to be a book about a group of girls who survived this horrible tragedy. And there was a serial killer who killed a bunch of people, and they're the only ones that were able to survive. They're the final girl standing. They killed their monster and they were able to stay alive. And something starts happening. Somebody starts trying to kill the final girls, and we are going to find out what's going to happen. I have very high expectations for this book. I don't know why, but from the beginning, when I read what this book is about, I thought that it's going to be good. So I'm really hoping. I'm definitely hyping myself up here, and I'm hoping that the book is gonna kind of answer my expectations. Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, I mentioned that I started reading The Final Girl Support Group, and I'm on page 100, so I wanted to give a quick overview of what I've read so far. And the first thing I want to say is that, at least for now, it reads as a thriller. A very good one, but a thriller. And why I'm pausing so much on this, I wouldn't be so nasty about it if the book explicitly didn't say that it's a horror novel. I'm still waiting for something scary to happen, but so far it looks like it's going to end up being a thriller, especially because everything is clearly set in real life. And we have this kind of a detective case where we're trying to figure out who the murderer is. But who knows, maybe something is going to happen and it's going to turn into a horror novel. But so far, we start with the group of girls sitting at this therapy session that they've been having for the past 16 years. One of the girls, all of them are final girls, and one of them didn't show up. Everybody is kind of worried because nobody ever misses the group, or at least they let you know in advance that they're going to miss the group. So, of course, everybody's a little bit worried and a little bit upset. But it's okay, it's whatever. Maybe she forgot, maybe her phone was turned off, maybe something happened. It's fine. Happens to everyone. But another girl in the group says that she wants to leave this group because, again, it's been 16 years and it's time to move on. They all should move on, but of course she's not going to make a decision for everybody, and for now she just says that she wants to leave. For everyone, it's a huge blow because it's an important part of their lives. This group is an important part of their lives. This is the only place where they feel safe, where they feel like they can talk through their emotions. And these are the people that trust each other. They only trust each other. Even though some of them have families, they will not understand them as much as other girls do. So this is a very important part of their lives. And of course, It's a huge blow, and then this other girl didn't show up. And the second the session finishes, something starts going on. Our main character, Lynette, one of the girls, so we learn everything from her point of view, is very, very cautious always. She's still terrified of somebody trying to kill her. And that's why she takes all the precautions. But then something happens that she didn't expect at all. Somebody came to her house. She thought that she had it as a very secure place. Nobody knew where she lived, but somebody knows. And she is immediately very scared. She thinks that now her address is exposed and whoever needs to will be able to find her. And this is when something crazy happens and somebody starts shooting at her and the person who came to her. And she realizes that somebody is after all the girls. The girl that didn't show up turned out to be dead. Now she got shot, and then some other girls from the group disappear. And now she's trying to find out what's going on, who would want to kill her, because it feels like the same thing is happening again. And all the final girls are being targeted, but nobody knows who does it, because who would it be? All of these cases happened 16 years ago, so who would want to go after them? And now Lynette is going to try to figure out how much this person knows about her and hopefully see who this person actually is. I really hope that the book is going to keep being so intriguing and the plot is going to be so nice and extraordinary, because I've never read anything like that before. And yeah, hopefully it's going to turn out good. So far, I don't have any clues. I don't know who would be going after them, especially because all of the killers that ruined these girls' lives are either dead or in prison. So of course it can't be them. But yeah, we'll see. I'll come back with more updates later and tell you more about the book. Another thing, I've been seeing a lot of this Dubai chocolate, and I think everybody has heard of it by now. So I told my husband that maybe we should try it if we can find it. So we found the store that sells it in New York. And yesterday, after our walk, we decided to go there and we got the chocolate. So this is what it looks like. My husband has already started eating it. This is basically the filling, and there is a lot of it. I understand that it's pistachio paste and something else, like some sort of dough. But I decided to try it with you and tell you what my first thoughts about it are. It's very good. It's definitely super sweet. So I would eat it with black coffee or tea. But I love the paste and I love the crunch that it has. I think it's phyllo dough that was kind of fried in oil and then filled with this pistachio paste. I'm not sure. Yeah, but this is very good. It's super expensive, so it's probably not something that I would be eating on a regular basis. But as a one-time thing, that's definitely something to try if you, of course, don't have a nut allergy. Hello, it's Wednesday, and the marathon didn't turn out to be exactly as I planned it. I had a lot of work, both my husband and I did, and both at our actual work and personal work. So we were both kind of stressed, and I was able to read less than I expected, and I decided to post this vlog a day later, just so that I have a little bit more time to finish the book and a little bit more time to edit. But I really hope you enjoyed it, and I wanted to go through the books that I ended up reading. So first of all, I read Death on the Lusitania, and it was fun. I gave it, I think, 4 out of 5. It was like 6.5 out of 10. And it was okay, but it was less mysterious than I expected and very much connected to World War I. So if you like this atmosphere of the war, of the spies, of secret agents, then that's something that you might enjoy. For me, this was too high of a scale, if I can put it that way. I prefer more small, more cozy mysteries that are kind of situated in this like one little place, and when they're not connected to a huge event like war. Because here, some of the things, some of the scenes are very much connected to the war, and some of them would not happen if it wasn't for the war. So the murder is also kind of slightly like this, but connected to the war. So if you like that, that's something you might actually enjoy. For me, I've had better. And the book slightly dragged for me. I felt like I'm reading and reading and reading, and I can't get to the end. I just don't understand what's going on. It just feels like we're going over and over the same thing. And it wasn't super bad, so it wasn't like it was dull and I thought that, oh, but we just discussed this, we just talked to this person, so it was fine. But I feel like it could have been a little bit faster paced. Next book is The Night House, and I liked it. It was a good book. It was my first in horror genre, and this was pure horror, definitely horror. And I probably expected a little bit more. I thought it would be more chilling. I thought it would be more scary. We do see the monster, and it could have been a very scary monster, but I didn't get enough of it. So the monster is only explained slightly. We see him very, very little. And only in a couple of scenes, and I wish that we had a better description of this monster. I wish we had more of his story. So I think for me, that personally, that would make the book much stronger and much more chilling and thrilling. But it's a good place to start with. So I think since I was interested in reading horror, that was a fine book to start with. It definitely wasn't the scariest, but it also wasn't stupid with a weird plot line that in the end doesn't make any sense, so that you're not going to lose interest in the genre if you're only trying to get into the genre. So I think this is a good representative of horror books. And it's definitely worth looking into. And finally, the last book and the star of today's video is The Final Girl Support Group. I finished it. So I think the last time we talked about it, I read only like 100 pages. Now it's done. It was great. I really enjoyed everything. I still think that it's mostly thriller than horror. The only thing from horror that there is very vivid, very detailed explanation of what the murderers, these mass murderers, did to their victims. So we have blood, we have broken bones, we have crushed skulls, we have a lot of those nasty details. So if that's something that you do not like, then be very careful with this book. It's only a couple of scenes, but they are pretty well written, so they're very vivid. And be careful with that if that's something that you don't really like. Otherwise, I still think it's a thriller, because somebody's trying to kill those final girls again. Somebody's going after them, and we don't know who, and we're trying to find who it is. The main character was a little bit annoying. So at first I was very sympathetic. She is very scared of somebody going after her, very scared of somebody killing her, so she takes all the precautions. She remembers everybody's shoes to make sure that if she sees the same pair of shoes, that means that this person was with her back then and he's here now, so maybe he's a potential stalker. She has that huge metal door in her apartment. She always keeps her windows closed. She only eats food that was prepared by her, or if it was prepared and prepackaged so that nobody can poison her. So I just felt very, very sad for this woman, and I realized that her trauma was so bad. It was such a bad experience that even years later, 16 years later, she still cannot let it go and live her life. But at some point, she started being annoying. She was too crazy with all of that. She definitely has some issues with having everything under control, with everybody doing exactly what she says, with not following the rules if she thinks that she's in danger, which sometimes was very, very annoying, and it looked like she was disrespectful to other characters in the book. But the more I read, the more this feeling faded away. So in the end, I liked our character. I think she was written super well. I think that she definitely had a right to be a little bit paranoid. And I would definitely recommend this book, again, to everybody who feels fine with these violent scenes. If you're okay with that, you will like the book. If you're a very sensitive person who does not appreciate that, then you should read very careful or not read this book at all. This book also had this very weird kind of pages in between every chapter. They were in black, and they were kind of these pieces from different articles, or from the police report, or from the diaries of one of our main characters. And I read all of them just because I didn't want to miss something important, but I didn't really see the need in them. They definitely were connected to all of those cases. So one was like Rotten Tomatoes review of the movies that were made about each one of those girls. Another one was the interview of some of the girls with the police officers after this horrible tragedy happened to them. So stuff like that. Some of them are more connected to the story, some of them are less connected to the story, but I feel like if you don't read them, nothing changes. So the story itself was the most important for me, and I kept waiting to get to the story finally and to finish this one page of this weird document that we're given to read. I don't know if the author wanted to say something by these or just to give us extra information about each one of the cases, but I feel like it was not super necessary. I feel like we could have done without them. But yeah, these were all the books that I've read. Please let me know what you've read this Halloween, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for staying with me through all of this time, through the last couple weeks. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.